In this video, we're going to be talking about fall planning, setting some goals, setting some strategies. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, if you are new or returning, welcome. Happy fall. Here at Sell Primary, we talk teach your side hustles, and it's planning time. Yes. Fall planning. For me personally, it's a continuation of summer planning. One of the things that I found, and I actually wrote a little bit about this in the email that I send out to people. If you want to join my side hustle email, just what does this mean? Find a link down below. But one of the things I was mentioning is that basically there are three types of TPT sellers when it comes to planning and doing work. Number one, it's school. They're not working on the TPT store. Been there, done that. They wait until summer or when school's over. They might work a little bit on during the holidays, but for the most part, they are disengaged from their store. Like I said, been there, done that. Number two are TPT sellers that work maybe on the weekends, most of the time on any holiday or break that they get, a Christmas break, spring break, fall break some people get, and they work there and they just plow through it, right? Been there, done that. And then there's the third group that actually tries to put in some consistent weekly work. That's what I'm doing this year. Last year I honestly, I'm just going to be real with you. I did not work on my store. I helped you work on your store. I helped a lot of people work on their stores. And I have no regrets about that. I enjoyed doing that. In fact, this is why this channel exists. I love helping you. I love helping people. And I felt this year, I thought, I should probably work on my own store. Because my sales were okay, but I have a small store. And when I say the word small for store, TPT stores, I'm referring to a store that is under 300 products. You can have a small store and have big earnings, especially if you're in the right niche. But I'm in the wrong niche for that. That's a story I'll talk to you about later. But back in spring break, 6 months ago roughly, I was already thinking that I'm going to have this big grandiose fall plan, and that didn't happen. I had a parent go into the hospital, had a stroke, lost some of their vision, and I became the primary driver, and that was up to 5 days a week. I actually did not have 2 days in a row off until a week before school. So that was my summer. I took it. You have no control of things like that. I was perfectly fine. My parents they went over the top with appreciation and took me out for dinner and all these things. It was tough for me because again, I wanted to work on my store. But what it made me do is think, okay, Lorianne, you've only got now so many hours per week. You've got to do something. And so that's what I did. And so I'll talk about my actual strategy in a moment. But if you're deciding to spend some time each week now on your business, okay, whether that's TPT, Boom, Etsy, your website, whatever it is, okay, let's start with the goal. What do you want to see happen? Okay, and to say I want to make more money is not specific enough. Okay, I don't always agree with SMART goals, and maybe I'll get into that one day. But when you are making a goal, you should have something very specific in mind. Okay, so for example, my goal is a little bit different because it's not just fall. I'm actually doing a 6-month goal. Okay, July to December is 6 months. I decided back in the spring that I was going to do a 6-month goal. And that's what I'm working on. So it's just going to continue on into the fall. My 6-month goal is to double my income that I made between July and December last year. Okay. Some of you are wondering what's my income. Again, I have a small store. I had less than 100 products, and I made $565.15. I'll show a picture right here actually. Between July and December. I normally average 100 a month. However, no, July and December are my two lowest months. Last July actually beat last December. December was $40. July was $75, I think it was. The rest of them were all over, except maybe October. It was just below, but all the rest of them were over 100. So I average really closer to about 100 a month. Again, K2 niche, less than 100 products. That is actually an average income. It's actually on the high end of TPT sellers. I made a video. I'll try and remember to put a picture of it right here. This is a very good video, not because I made it, but the income of the average TPT seller is set in this video. And it was very telling. I was super happy to make that video because people always think, oh, I'm only making $10. I'm only making $20. And I'm really like, how many products you got? I've only got 30 products. You're doing great. The average seller doesn't make that, right? That video talks about averages, okay? So making $100 a month in the K2 niche with under 100 products is actually on the mid to high income for the niche, okay? If you are selling middle school, you could be and should be, if you're optimizing, you should be making $1,000 a month if you have 50 products, okay? That's what the average is making. So it depends on your niche, all right? So for me, again, I made this goal for the next 6 months to double my income, and that would put me at the top of the average for, again, the K2 niche. And K2 niche is saturated, but there are people every day making money. So don't think you can't make money. You're going to have to work strategically. Okay? So doubling my income is my goal. Okay? Between this date and this date. Now I need my strategy. How am I going to do that? What am I going to do to double my income? Because gone are the days when you could just upload a product onto TPT and people will just snap it up. They don't do that. Right? Next week's video, you need to watch next week's video. I found a couple, actually, I was introduced to a couple of keyword research tools and I used them. And I'm still using 2 of them. I've been introduced to 3. I'm going to show you 2 of them next week, and then I'll probably show you the 3rd maybe a month later because I still haven't really dove into that 3rd one. But anyways, part of my strategy, my personal strategy, was to get some products on the first page. In the K2 niche, that's difficult. However, we got to find the gaps. If I can find a gap and make a product for the gap, I should be able to get on that page, first page. Okay, and I'm going to show you one that I did, in fact. And it got sales within days of me uploading it. And I did not advertise anywhere. I don't even know if I made a pin. I think I made a pin, but pins take a while to gain traction. So my goal is to double, and then my strategy, okay, is multiple steps. So first of all, how many hours, if you're going to work week by week, how many hours per week are you going to commit to? And you're actually going to block it in your calendar and nothing comes in its way. Save family or whatever, those kind of things. But for the most part, this is a commitment that you're going to make. And one of the things that I've been really looking at when it comes to productivity is, for me, I do better when productivity is an adventure. You might like, what? I don't like productivity to be drudgery. I have to find the fun in it, oh, this is going to be good. Let's try this. Let's, experiment with that. I need to do that. I need to have that little bit of an adventure to it. And I follow a guy, and I talked about him in one of the emails that I sent out, Ali Abdal, and he talks about that too. And he calls it feel-good productivity. And that's actually where I heard about it first. I totally agree with that. That's how I've been treating my productivity. So, and it's working because I've now done it half of July, August, and now we're halfway through September. It's still working, and it's great. And so my number, if you want a number, is 3 hours, 3 times a week. That's it, 9 hours. Because I also have YouTube, and I didn't count editing. Editing takes 5 to 10 hours, closer to 5, but I wasn't going to count that. I decided to focus on the 2 platforms that make the most money. Okay, YouTube is number 1, TPT is number 2. Okay, YouTube makes up to $300 a month, $400 a month, but it really fluctuates because of affiliate marketing and a few other things. And TPT also fluctuates. So I'm taking 3 hours, 3 times a week. And within those 3 hours, okay, so if I just said, I'm going to work on my business 3 hours tonight, what specifically are you going to do? Again, to drive more if your goal is more income, what are you going to do in those 3 hours that is going to bring you money? Because I can just search online at clip art for 3 hours. Seriously, I can do that. That's not going to bring me money. That's not going to bring in earnings, right? So you've got to start bringing down all these little strategies of how are you going to do this, okay? Within those 3 hours, I'm spending the first 90 minutes. So I'm going to break the 3 hours into 2 90-minute blocks, right? An hour and a half. The first 90 minutes is product creation. First of all, back in July, I'm like, I got to get 100 products in my store. Because, and even though it's not always about quantity or even quality, it was about making what people wanted. That was my strategy. I want to get on the first page. I can't get on the first page making a addition to 20 product. There's 180,000 that exist right now. There's no way I'm getting on that first page. But I find the gap and make that product because people are searching for it, then there's a high chance that I'm going to be on that first page. And some of this you might be thinking, there's no way you can get on the first page. Oh, watch me. Watch me. This is part of the game, right? This is the way I roll sometimes. And then the other 90 minutes is broken into different things. So if I look at the traffic from TPT, right? And look to see where are people coming from that are coming to my channel, to my store. The number one thing is YouTube, right? And I think people are mainly looking for TPT seller type products, which they'll find, and I'm going to be adding maybe 2 more before Christmas. They'll be looking for things like that, which is fine. But they sometimes look for other things, right? For example, last week's video on creating boom cards, I got sales. Did those sales come from people watching the YouTube video, or did people just see that on Boom? I have no idea, because Boom doesn't offer traffic, right? Boom, if you're listening, sellers need traffic. They need to know where their traffic's coming from. The next place that I get the most traffic is my website. Okay, I have a website called It's All Primary. It does pretty good, and I haven't optimized it for monetization. It's monetized, but I'm not making as much as I really should be, because I have almost 10,000 views a month, and that's not bad for, again, a small business. But again, I'll have a goal down the future to double those views, but not in these 6 months. So I need to be making products that people are looking for, right? Product creation, and then writing about those products in my website to drive traffic back to the store. And then the other place that drives traffic for me is Pinterest. Pinterest. So I thought, okay, fine. I will do, out of the 90 minutes, I'll spend a little bit on YouTube and make sure that my my descriptions have links to products. And then I'm going to be writing about it, blogging. And then I'm going to be pinning it. Now, that doesn't always work every single of the 3 nights, but sometimes what ends up happening is 2 nights I'll get my 90 minutes in, and then one night I might just be working on images for my blog or images for Pinterest, or I might just do, a night of just pins, right? But the goal is to do 3 hours 3 times, and that's not only 9 hours. It's not a lot. And during the summer, I actually did it for 5 times a week because, again, I didn't have school. That made it easy. Now that we've been back in school, I don't know, 3-4 weeks now, it's getting tougher, but I can still do it. And that was the other important thing. I need to create strategies that I can actually succeed in. I could have said, no, I'm going to continue 5 times a week. I would have failed miserably, and then I would have struggled with that strategy, and then I would have probably quit, because that's what I usually do. If it gets too overwhelming, I just stop. So I knew coming into the school year that could happen. So I thought, fine, I'll go from 5 times a week to 3 times a week. And if I can do a little bit of extra on the weekends, that's a bonus. It's not mandatory, right? Or sometimes the school week can be very busy that maybe I only get 2 nights to do it. And then I use Saturday to do the 3rd one. Whatever it is. I allow myself the grace to have a night and not have to think about it. I also need a night to just edit YouTube. I need that. So technically I am doing 4 nights. So you have to have your goal, you have to have your strategies, and you've got to really break down your strategies. Okay, but it can be done. And even if you commit to 3 hours a week, maybe 1 night, or maybe 2 nights with an hour and a half and an hour and a half, whatever that is. But if your goal is to double your income, like I'm trying to do, I'm still wondering whether 9 hours will be enough. We'll watch to see how September and October play out, right? Because 6 months really isn't a long time, but that was why I chose 6 months, because it isn't a long time and I can focus for 6 months. Can't always focus for a year, but I can focus for 6 months. I will keep you posted on my 6-month goal and how my planning goes. And please let me know down below what your plans are for the fall. And maybe you've got a 1-year goal or a 6-month goal or even a 3-month goal. That's not necessarily fall, but it's something you're doing, and I'd love to hear about it, okay? So next week's video is about keywords. And again, I am thrilled to be sharing these websites with you. There has been one company that has pretty much dominated data and keyword research, and that is Your Data Playbook. And a lot of the big sellers swear by it. That's great. But majority of people here at this channel aren't big sellers. I've never had the goal to be a big seller. I'm just laying some truth on you, okay? I've only aspired to making $1,000 a month with as least amount of products as possible. And I'll get into that, because people ask me that what's your plan? What's your real goal for TPT? I will share it probably at the end of the 6 months to let you know if I'm going to even change. I haven't changed it at all, but I haven't always done it. I haven't done the work behind it. That's going to start changing, right? Like I said, I'm backing off on some other things, and then I'm focusing on my store, and I hope you focus on your store. If you're still listening, thank you. You made it to the end. I forgot to mention that on October 1st to 4th, I've got this written down, that Kristen Doyle, she's one of my favorite SEO gurus. She has a profit booster boot camp. I took it back in 2021, so it's been a couple years. And it's coming back up. I'm going to have an affiliate link, so you don't get charged extra. She just gives me a thank you. It's down below. It costs $37, 4 days. You get a bunch of stuff. She talks a lot about which TPT data to look at, your covers, your thumbnails, your previews. She goes into all of that. She also mentions blogging SEO, which is one of the reasons that I really liked it. And let me just say this, if you can afford an extra $100, I did the VIP. I was in that VIP group coaching thing. I was in the presence of some of the biggest TPT sellers ever. Like, these are millionaires. And I was completely humbled to hear, but I was listening for their mindset on how they approach things. And it really wasn't much different, but it was super cool to be around these sellers and getting information and finding out how they approach their products. And yeah, anyways, it was excellent. So like I said, link will be below for the Profit Booster Boot Camp. What are you doing? Okay, anyways, I just thought I didn't want to forget because it's coming up. Okay, so wherever you are in the world, I hope you and your family are staying safe, being healthy, and we'll catch you in that video or the playlist. See ya.